Welcome to writing notes for homework. Alright, so here's our notes video that's going to be similar to what you saw in class today. Please remember to leave this space on the side. Alright, this space on the side over here is for you to ask questions, make little notations if you need to see examples again, so on and so forth. So what we're starting with tomorrow is solving one-step equations and other types of equations. But let's start by talking about one-step equations. First of all, what's an equation? So an equation is a mathematical statement showing two expressions that are equivalent. All right, so an example of something like this would be 2x plus 3 equals 7x. Just making it up. All right, so there is an equation, all right, where 2x plus 3 is an expression and x plus 7 is an expression, or excuse me, 7x is an expression. Alright, so to solve an equation, you have to find the value of the variable that makes both sides equal. So basically, in general, a one-step equation is an equation that requires only one step to get the variable alone. This is what it means when they say solve for x. Solve for x means get the variable by itself. Get x by itself, or whatever the variable may be. Alright, so some examples to get us started. So the following are one-step equations along with their solutions. So let's start with x plus 3 equals 7. So we need to get x by itself. Right now I'm adding 3 to it. So in order to get rid of that 3, we use the inverse operation, okay? Or I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. So when I do that, I'm subtracting 3 from the variable side to get this variable alone. Alright, so when I do that to one side, I have to do that to the other side too. It's called keeping things balanced. End up with x equals 4. Well, there you go. That's all we need. X equals 4. You're done. When you get to x equals, you're done. Not negative x equals, not x times 2 equals, but x equals. When you get there, you have solved for x. You have solved the equation. So the next example I have for you is x minus 4 equals 2. Well, now I'm subtracting 4. So in order to undo subtraction, I add. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. By doing that, these 4's totally cancel out. They're gone. And I get 2 plus 4 equals 6. So now x equals 6. You're done. That's it. Alright. My next one is 3x equals 6. And I know it's at the very bottom of your screen. But 3x equals 6. I need to get rid of that 3. But it's not being added or subtracted. It's being multiplied. So how do we undo multiplication? Well, what would undo it is division. So I'm going to divide this side by the number 3. When I do that, this 3 will go away because they'll cancel out completely. And 6 divided by 3, because what you do to one side, you do to the other. So 6 divided by 3 just equals 2. So I'm left with x equals 2. That equation is also solved. Alright, so the next thing we're going to talk about is solving two-step equations. Well, most equations are going to have more than one step. We're going to practice the one step to get comfortable with doing one, but over time you're going to be working more and more with equations that have more than one step. So in a two-step equation, there are 2 steps that are needed to find the value of the variable that makes the statement true. We can do it one step at a time. So an example of such an equation would be something like 2x plus 3 equals 7. Well, the first thing I want to do is focus on getting x by itself. But if I go to divide by 2, I have to divide every term by 2. I don't want to divide 3 by 2, and I certainly don't want to divide 7 by 2. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to get rid of the 3. So to undo plus 3, I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. When I do that, and I just do subtraction straight down, the 3's cancel out, and I'm left with 2x. Well, 7 minus 3 equals 4. Now I can divide by 2. And when I do that, I'm left with x equals 2. So what you're doing is you're going to undo any addition or subtraction before you undo division or multiplication. So you're doing PEMDAS kind of backwards. So 3x minus 2 equals 7. So undoing the undoing the subtraction, I'm going to use addition. I'm going to add 2 to both sides. There's step 1. So I'm left with 3x equals 9. Now I'm going to undo that multiplication and divide both sides by 3. And I'm left with x equals 3. So another example would be n divided by 7 plus 2 equals 3. Oh no, there's a fraction. That's okay. Everybody take a deep breath. Fractions are okay. We can get through them. Before I can even deal with that fraction, which we know is just division, I'm going to get rid of the addition. So to undo plus 2, I'm going to subtract 2. So I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides, because whatever we do to one side, we do the other. That leaves me with n divided by 7 equals 1. Now, how do we undo division? Well, division and multiplication go together. So let's multiply both sides by the 7 we were dividing by. So those 7's will cancel out completely. 1 times 7 just equals 7. So to get rid of a fraction, you're just multiplying everything by the denominator of that fraction, which in this case is 7. So what happens if our equations are more than 2 steps? Well, those are just multi-step equations. Now I'm going to give you notes on a 3-step, and then a 4-step, and then a 5-step. They're going to get bigger, and it's okay. We're going to get through them together. So equations can get very complicated with many more steps than just 2. And actually, I'm going to go and stop the video here, and I'm going to let you learn about multi-step equations tomorrow night.